Hello and welcome back to 911 Scales. My name is Michael and today we're looking at the long-awaited 1/18 scale Taycan Turbo S model made by Minichamps. If you're thinking the title of this video surely must be clickbait, unfortunately it is not. I think it is a missed opportunity and I'm truly a bit disappointed by this model. Why that is the case and what are all the specific problems with this model car, that'll be the topic of this review. To each and every one of you who's tuned in for the very first time, thank you very much. I'm very happy about that you've decided to check out my content. With these Porsche model car reviews, I'm trying to bring out some decent information about these cars, also spread the passion for Porsche model cars. As usual with my model car reviews, first of all, I'm trying to give you some general information about the model and the car itself. Then I'm taking out my macro lens and we will get a very close look onto the model itself. And then finally, I rate my models in price, quality, details, rarity and significance. So in the very end we have a nice scoreboard and then you can compare them to some other reviews I've done so far. So the Taycan, Porsche's first fully electric car with 760 horsepower for the Turbo S, a 2.8 second 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time, an 800 volt structure and a 2-speed transmission. Such a revolutionary car for the Porsche brand and I'm truly in love with this one. Something I already talked about in the 1/43 scale review of the Taycan Turbo S. A link is down in the description below. Make sure to check this video also out. Like the small scale model, this 1/18 scale Taycan Turbo S is also made by Minichamps and it is the first 1/18 scale Minichamps model I have had here, which comes with a proper display plate and display case. Something which I usually only have seen on Spark models in that scale. And like the Spark models, this one comes also with a proper price, costing 250 euros this time. Usually Minichamps model in that scale costs only 100 euros and these have a noticeably badlier quality than the expensive 1/18 scale Spark models. Like the Spark models, this one is also limited with 2000 pieces as I said here on the plate. But this one has a problem. At this price point I expect the model to have the same exceptional quality and the details like on the 1/18 scale Spark models I reviewed so far. This unfortunately is not the case, so let me grab the camera and let's get up close to the model and I show you all the problems I have seen on this specific model. Alright, let's look at all the problems of this model. Starting our walk around at the side. Overall you can see that the car sits a bit too high in my opinion, especially here at the rear. Then unfortunately the overall quality of the model is not up to this price point and also not up to the same level of, for example, the No-Ref Cayenne Coupe, which is not even half that expensive. Spots where you can see that, for example, are the door handles. The one in the front does look alright, but the one here in the back seems to have too much paint on it. Also, it does not sit properly inside the body, but I have to give them credit that they use individual parts in the first place and that gives them an actual better look if they would just be a part of the overall body itself. What they have done alright on the other hand are these carbon side blades. But then the wheels unfortunately are the worst part of this model in my opinion, a detail which is most striking on the real car itself. I really love these Mission E spec Turbo S wheels. First up, what the problem here is, the Porsche crest on some wheels does not align properly inside of the middle of the spoke. Here it is done alright, but let me show you the front tire. Here in the front you can see that the logo, the Porsche crest, is not sitting properly in the middle. And then they also forgot to align the tip of the Porsche crest with the valve of the tire. It's a very small detail, but Porsche is usually obsessed with that and also on their model cars. Also the brake assemblage, the disc is just a sticker and you can see that it's not a full circle, just a cutout which sits beside the caliper here and you can see it's not cut out very well, which is a big problem I think in my opinion. Other model car producers doing it the same way, I'm pretty sure about that, but here it is very well noticeable. And also what happens when I touch the wheel and wiggle it a bit, you can see that the brake caliper does not sit properly in there and I think that is a big problem. Other models don't have that and yeah, I don't like that at all, not good. Also, I think the brake itself, the disc is way too reflective. I really like how Spark is doing it on their newer 1/18 scale models, like for example with the 1/18 scale Speedster Heritage package. The rear is by far the best part of the model. The Taycan Turbo S logo here is alright, and they even thought of the small button to open the trunk. And the diffuser with its carbon details down here is also nicely done, and so are the reflectors, which are transparent plastic and not just painted on there. That's actually a good part. But you can see here how the panel gaps are done. I think this is not good, and they seem to be a bit cheap and dirty looking. The rear light bar here, you can see also some dirt inside the edges, which I really don't like. And also it consists just out of 5 stickers. One reflector here, here, the Porsche writing in here, and one reflector again here, which gives us a very two-dimensional look, completely different appearance to the rear car, I think. And again, I have to give a noticeable mention to Norev with their Cayenne Coupe. They done the rear light bar on that model for a fraction of the price, much better. Also not good is the front. Even though the splitter down here with its carbon details is alright looking, the radar cruise control here is just lacking details and is not properly executed. Then the lights are also not as good as you would expect at this price point. Spark usually does this better, and also the Norev lights were also, I think, on a slightly better quality level, but not as far away as the Spark ones, which are exceptionally well made. Then also more quality problems. You can see the black paint here has not as sharp edges as you would like to see it here. The paint actually goes over to the white part of the car. Then the interior, a category which is actually very important for a big scale model like this, and here the model really had the opportunity to redeem itself. But again, unfortunately, they decided to stick with an all black interior without any stitching whatsoever. For me, that's a huge mistake. So the Porsche Taycan, especially in Turbo S trim, has so many optional extras which you could spec on in the interior and makes it look very nice. Here it's just unfortunately the bland black interior. Details they have added are the Turbo S stickers in the headrest, front and rear, and they also made many stickers like the air conditioning controls and the PCM screen in the middle of the console. You can see them here. These are actually rather good. And also a big mistake they made is unfortunately the instrument cluster is wrong. If I'm not mistaken, the Taycan has only 3 circles with some additional buttons on each side, for example for the traction control and suspension. And here unfortunately we have 5 circles separately in a very odd way. I don't know why that is the case. I know this is such a tiny detail, but it has been made perfectly in many 1/18 scale models I have shown before. Finally, other tiny details which they have added in a good way, the window controls and the door handle, something I would not have expected to see. Actually impressive. And a very last comment on the display plate of the Taycan. Here the overall quality feeling is not on the same level as the Spark models. Also the Taycan logo is not as white as it could have been. Here it looks a bit more grayish. The individual number here on the back is a nice touch, but is also not as well executed as on the Spark models. On the Spark models it actually goes into the plate itself. Here it's more or less printed on, I think. But it also does not have the same matching tone as the Taycan Turbo S logo. And I think what is a problem here, especially since this is a white car, now you have 3 different white tones on the display, which I think is not as good as it could have been. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if I'm getting a bit too harsh here in my critique. So yeah, overall this model really does not perform, which is a huge disappointment personally for me, because I'm really in love with the Taycan, especially in the white Mission E spec for the Turbo S. So without further ado, let's rate these models in our scores. Price is high. These cost 249 euros at our Porsche dealers here in Germany. So this is the same price as the 993 Turbo Classic series I reviewed in my last video. And for the value this model provides, I just cannot give this the same score as that one, giving this here a 3 out of 10. Quality is not good. I especially do not like the brakes and the wheels, giving it here a 4 out of 10. Details are also not good. I think on the interior they missed an opportunity, and some details are also wrong, giving it here only a 3 out of 10. Rarity, even though this is a limited edition, they decided to make 2,000 pieces. The GT Tour S here behind me is also limited to around 2,000 pieces. and that is still available, and I think that will also be the case for this Taycan model, giving it here a Rarity score of 4 out of 10. Significance is super high. I already explained it in my 143 scale review, giving it here also a 10 out of 10. Which means overall that the Taycan Turbo S in 1/18 scale made by Minichamps gets a 24 out of 50 and puts it here on our scoreboard. So the last place for this 1/18 scale Taycan Turbo S. 5 points behind the Cayenne Coupe, a car that comes not even close to this one in reality. But yeah, when you're making a model like this one, even the super high significance score couldn't save it. And if you like to see a detailed scoreboard with all the respective category scores, the link to my Google Sheet is down in the description below. So what do you think of this model? Are you already lurking on eBay, seeing if someone is selling it very cheaply? Personally, this model makes me a bit sad. I think the awesome Taycan truly would have deserved a matching model. But everything comes to an end, and before I'm sending you to some high resolution pictures at the end of this video, which as always look awesome on a 4K monitor, especially on a big screen, I would like to say thank you very much for watching, that you've tuned in again. If you like this video, please consider hitting that like button down below, and if you're not already a subscriber, also hit that subscribe button down below. Really helps me out spreading the passion for Porsche model cars. Also feel free to check me out on Instagram at 911 scales. That's it for now. Tune in for the next time when I'm exploring the Porsche model car world in 911 scales. Thank you very much. Alla, ciao.